Hey guys, I spent 20 minutes last night making this video, and then I realized I was on, I wasn't recording my mic, so it was kind of useless. I figured I'd make another one. I think this is just going to go over how to create LODs and how to, yeah, how to create LODs out of object assets you have that don't have them. I've made another video previously about how to optimize stuff requests, and in that I go over a tool called Mesh Simplify, which will do the job for you. It's a little bit quicker to do it that way, but it costs money. And I've since discovered how to use Blender a little bit, or at least just a basic understanding of Blender, so that I can do that piece of it. And not only is it free, it does a better job. It does take a little more time, but I like doing it. I think it makes better results. So I'm gonna get into it. Let's take a object here, and I'm just gonna go with something I haven't optimized yet. I showed it on a tree the other day, just a small sample, but I didn't explain what I was doing or anything. Let's pick something that I think the one I used. Made a good example because I mean, I'll show you why. This one wouldn't be bad. This is the one I used. All right, so this asset actually comes with LODs, but let's assume it didn't. What I'm going to do is unpack it so it's no longer a prefab, and I'm just going to take the highest quality one and pull it out and delete the rest of them. So now I just have this high quality, it's got 7,990 or 9,792 triangles on it. And when we talk about triangles, what we're talking about is if you go under gizmos and click the selection wire, you can actually see them. Each of these is a triangle, and it's a connection of three vertices. So there's a vertice, there's a vertice, there's a vertice, and basically our quest is limited by how many triangles the camera can see at a given moment. So when we create LODs, that's what we're trying to do. We're taking assets, and why is it not? Oh, because we're taking these assets and turn on gizmos, and we'll turn off the script so we can see this a little bit better. Um, want to be able to see I'm just going to open this as a prefab. Oh, the LOD group's on this. Okay. So you see this LOD1. That's basically, it's showing it at full quality right here. I'm going to take off the collision. That's what... Under here should have like collider or something like that. Maybe it's under mesh collider. Yeah, there. Okay. So you can see the individual triangles here. And when I move the camera far away, it changes to a lower quality version of it, less triangles. And that kind of saves, processing power when it's far away. Really far away, it gets rid of those pieces there. That's the LOD3. Now, something to understand, this actually has an LOD0 too. I'm hiding it because this is for the quest map, and you notice that when I'm up close and the camera's right up against it, it's not showing the LOD0. That's because the Onward devs have made it so that the LOD0 or Quest ignores LOD zeros. That way I could put a really high quality version of the asset in here and maybe drag this like out here. So that way I can use the same asset on my PC VR scene as I do for my Quest version. And Quest is just going to ignore it so it doesn't kill the processing power of the Quest. The LOD1 is what it would start off, and this whole thing would basically be LOD1. Um, it doesn't like start the scale here in terms of distance. The distance actually starts here. It's just showing the LOD1 when it's in the LOD0 spot. At least that's how Quest sees it. Now the reason it's not showing it here on my screen is because I have gone into the project settings. So you edit project settings, and then under the quality tab, you can set the maximum LOD level and the LOD bias. Quest uses an LOD bias of 1.18. And a maximum LOD of 1. This is going to change if you're using like a night variant, like in the level settings of your map, you can change it to a night map or a day map. I believe they brought in the LOD bias for night maps as a way to compensate for the extra processing power that it takes to run flashlights and stuff like that. For the maximum LOD, that's always 1 for Quest. So if I were to change that to a 0, just to show you, now it's drawing the LOD 0. But for this particular asset, I've put the same model of the object into the LOD 0 and LOD 1. By the way, I've been talking about this, so I haven't really explained it. I think it's kind of self-explanatory. Basically, in each of these boxes, if I click on this, it has a renderer in it, and that's the object that's here. So basically, you can drag different renders. Let's say I wanted, I'll set this up from scratch. So this is my object with all the different pieces, and you can see that each one, they're all being drawn here. But you only want to. This is the 3 different models I have. So this is the high quality one, or no, L2. Let's see how many trees. This one's 683. The top one is 1,100, and the bottom one is 2,200. So we want the bottom one's the high quality one, and I'm just going to relabel these here. This is LOD 0 and 1 because I'm using it for both the Quest and PC, or the Quest. I'm using it for both the LOD0 and LOD1 model because Quest ignores LOD1, and I'm only using this asset on the Quest version of this map. This one was the low quality one, so we'll call it LOD3. And this one was the middle quality one, we'll call it LOD2. And then on the tank, on the parent object, above the 3 models, and just to show you again, I'm going to disable these 2, so now you only see the high quality one. Then I disable that one, I go to the middle quality one. Now you only see that one. And I'll disable that one and go to the low quality one. Now you're only seeing that one. So now I'm going to enable all 3 and just show you. This is the LOD. You can see there's no renderers under any of these. Oops. So all you do is you just drag the object with the renderer that you want to be in that one. So there's the LOD0. This one is LOD3. We're also going to use the LOD0/1 in the 1 slot because again it's for Quest, and we'll put the LOD2 in the LOD2 slot. And now I should have this object that gets degraded quality as I move my camera away. And if you click on the LOD levels, you can actually see the trees down here. So this one's 2064 when the camera's up close to it, 2200 because again, Quest version, this is all it's showing. And I'm going to drag that in a little bit just because I think that's kind of close. All right, LOD2, 1100, LOD3. Just make sure you have those right in degrading order. Same thing with the support. I put another LOD object on this. There's actually 2 ways you could set this up. So you can either have both objects each have their, in this particular asset, I have 2 objects and they each have their own LODs. The distances kind of change at the same time because I have one LOD object on this one with these 3 pieces, and I have another LOD object on this object with these 3 pieces. They can change at different times, but you could also just put the LOD on the top object and then drag like the LOD 0s into the LOD 2s and LOD 3s. There's really no bad way to do that. If you want the things to change at the same time, I kind of prefer it where they don't because it's more gradual. But if you want the things to change at the same time, you would just put it on the parent object and you can move multiple renderers into these. So like I could, have a LOD object here, and I'm gonna lock this so that it doesn't change windows when I select other stuff. That's what this button here does. I'm gonna, I could drag two objects and put them both in here. I just did the wrong ones, but you get the idea. So now it's going to draw both these when the camera's that far away, and so on. You can click the minus just to delete these. I'm just going to remove the whole component because I'm doing mine two separates again. Anyway, that's kind of a basic of what LODs are. Now I'm going to go into how to create them. So without using a $50 Mesh Simplify tool or the free version of that, whatever that is. So again, I have this plant, 2,000 trees, too much. First, you go to Window, Package Manager, and this is a one-time deal. Search or change the drop-down from your assets. Make sure you're in the Unity registry because this is a built-in feature into Unity. Look up FBX Exporter and install that. I already have it, so I don't need to install it, but just install it. Next, in your project, you go to the object. Once you've installed that, you should be able to right-click on it and say Export to FBX. This window pops up. The default is it's going to have export format of ASCII. You need to change that to binary if you're going to edit it in Blender, and that's what we're going to do. You also need to install Blender, by the way. That's really the only thing you have to change in here. Click Export, and it's going to export it by default into your Assets folder. So now I'm going to go to Blender, and open it up. Delete everything in here. You don't need anything. Go File, Import. We're going to import that FBX into here. So I was just working in this assets. I was working in, this is my project. It's called the Future Project. And then in the Assets folder, the most recently, if you sort by date modified, the most recent one you exported should be the one FBX Exporter exported. In this case, it's Plant 16 import. So here's my plant, and now we want to make this lower quality. So the simple way to do this is just to click on it, click on this wrench icon, and add a modifier. And under this column, you should have an option called decimate. So you add that, and then there's three different algorithms you can use to decimate it. Planner, I believe, I'm not exact. Unsubsidized, I think, just takes out triangles like pretty equally throughout the whole thing. I believe. I could be wrong on that. Someone correct me. Planner takes out triangles based on the angle. So if I were to click on this and go into edit mode, you can do that by clicking on it and then pressing tab on your keyboard. I hit space too. But yeah, basically the angle of these triangles, I believe if like this face is more than 5-degree difference, or is less than a 5-degree difference, it's going to combine them. That's what the planner one does. I believe that's how that works. For most cases, I use that on terrain, but for most cases, I think you're going to use collapse. I could, yeah, again, terrain's a whole nother animal. I'll make a video on that later, but for collapse, you want to make sure you're out of edit mode. You're in the object mode. I figured that out. You have to be in object mode for this to work. And you just drag this ratio, and it's going to take out that percentage of the triangles. So if I were to drag this down, you can see it's kind of getting lower quality as I do it. Basically, you find something that's acceptable. Remember, it doesn't have to look great because this is what players are going to see when they're a distance away from it. So after that, you would click apply, and then you have your lower quality version. Now, I could just go into back into Unity and import this and create the LOD off of it, but I want to show you a little bit more about how to get better results than that. So I'm going to Control Z what I just did. Control Z is undo. Bring that back up. Now I'm back to my full quality one. And by the way, if you want to see the statistics here, you can click this drop down and click on the statistics checkbox. That shows you the number of triangles on this object. And remember, we said it was 9,792. So now I can see it's at full quality. I'm just going to remove this modifier and just pretend we're doing this from scratch. So if you look at this, you can see that there's all these, and I'm going to go into object mode now, or edit mode by, again, clicking on the object, press tab, changes this to edit mode. You can just change it manually too. But you can see there's all these like triangles. In the example I was doing yesterday, you can see all these triangles on the base of this plant that really you can't see through the leaves, especially from a distance. So in the video yesterday, I deleted those. It's a pretty good thing to do. From the bottom though, you can still kind of see this. So really what we want to delete is these ones on the top. So the way I do that is I change the perspective to see just the top or just the bottom or just the side depending on what you're doing. And then you can go into X-ray mode, and that's what this does here. Now I can see through the object. And just to look at it again, kind of looks like it's, it's bending up to the right there. And that's the part we want to get rid of. So I'm going to go into here, go into X-ray mode, and if you see this circle, those are kind of the trees we're trying to get rid of. And they're right in the center, so it's kind of a pain to select them. So what you can do is go into this top view, select it like that, and then if you hold down Shift and drag over some stuff, you can select more properties. I'm going to hit Control Z to unselect that stuff. And if you hold Control and do the same thing, you can deselect stuff. So I'm going to deselect that, deselect this, and kind of just go in, and just make sure I'm getting like just the circle. I think an even better way to do this, which I actually haven't tried yet, I'm going to try it now, because why not? Just go back to selecting nothing. I believe that's what... I believe there's like a lasso tool. What this is? No. I'm not good at Blender, just throwing that out there. Anyway, if you want to look it up, I believe there's a lasso tool, which would let you just kind of draw a circle around this instead of having to use these squares. Maybe I should have looked it up before doing this video, but whatever. I'm just going to do it this way. This is what I know. Select this stuff, Control, Control, Control. I kind of find this fun to do, almost. Maybe not fun, but soothing. Like, I don't mind the extra clicks if there is a lasso tool. Okay. So now we selected it by this axis. Now I'm going to change to another axis. And you can see that, oh, we selected all this stuff that we really don't want to remove. So I'm just going to hold Control click and deselect that stuff from this angle. And now we have just the center that we were kind of trying to get rid of. And maybe you're looking at it and going like, oh, well, we don't want to delete that. Just kind of clean it up. Anyway, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to press delete, and you can either delete the faces or the vertices. I think faces is probably the better way. And now if I go out of X-ray mode, you can see what it looks like. You can see that we basically got rid of the, we missed a couple. We could come in here and clean that up a little bit. Delete those vertices because I don't want anything from them. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. All we're trying to do is get rid of as many trees as possible, which we just removed a whopping 300 trees. Not very much, but hey, we lost 300 trees and we lost almost no quality from a distance, which is nice. So this may not be a great usage of this. If you had something like I've done on a couple of like big trucks with full interiors, and those were great places to do it because they I got rid of the entire. I'm gonna have to wrap this up because my computer's about to blue screen to death. Um, anyway, yeah, we got rid of a bunch of. There's better places to use that, like maybe on a truck where you have like a full interior and you want to get rid of the entire interior. You can save a lot of triangles that way in a little bit of time using these methods I just did. But for this one, I'm going to go out of edit mode and then I'm going to apply that decimator. So now we're losing quality and we completely got rid of some of the other trees that we don't care about. So we go to there, apply it. We're down to 3,700 trees. That's great. You know, a third of what, like, yeah, maybe 40, 50% what we had, something like that. File. So this is the rest of the process. You go File, Export, FBX. I'm just going to save it to my documents, and you might want to name your things appropriately. I don't, because I think I like to save as much time as possible. So I just keep writing to the untitled. If I need to remake it, I totally can. Um, Next thing I'm going to do is create an empty. Where is it? Where is it? Create empty. Put that in the root. And I'm going to call this plant. I'm going to put my original inside that. And then I'm going to duplicate my original with Control D is how I duplicate. If you want to be clean and call these appropriately, this would be the LOD 0/1, and this would be the plant LOD 2. Next, we're going to go Assets, Import New Asset. Go to Documents, and we'll do the one that we just exported. I called it Untitled, if you remembered. That adds this to my project view, which is just the import settings. You can click the expand here, and you can see that you have the mesh. So I'm going to click the LOD2 and then drag the mesh into the mesh filter. And now that object has that new mesh. And just to show that, what we need to do is we need to create an LOD group on this. Just click add component, LOD group, and then we just drag the LOD0 into the LOD0, LOD0/1 into the LOD1, LOD2 into the LOD2. We're going to make it so it doesn't draw it. Cull means it just doesn't draw it at all. You want to kind of put that far away. But yeah, now it's drawing the low quality one at these ranges and the high quality one there. You can see it changing. And if I click on it directly, I can see it up close. And this is our new version of it, which has the missing interior. And it's also been decimated. Again, only 3,900 trees. It doesn't look that much worse than the other one, which is 10,000. So yeah, that's how you can create your own LODs for objects. That's kind of the basis of optimization. My computer is literally about to blue screen to death because I'm finishing a lighting job and it does it every time. So I need to close everything out. I'm going to end this video here. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm going to create another video where this video is going to become extremely useful knowledge for the next one I want to do. But I wrote a script that can like optimize your whole map if you have the same number of LOD stuff on everything on the map. And yeah, I'll show you that later. I'll explain later. But yeah, I think that's it for now. Thanks.